ladies and gentlemen. This is Moed Musani from ScreenBinge, and today we have Mr. Jeremy Nunes, and he's had an experience of 20 years in the comedy business, and we'll ask him how it all started because it's a very inspiring story. He used to be in a small town, and not to um, bring in any spoilers in his story, but he's also been the mayor of his town, for which he wrote a book filled with humor, and it's selling greatly on Amazon right now. So, Mr. Jeremy, where do we start? Let's just start from the beginning.
Okay. So you want to know maybe like how I started in comedy? Is that
Yeah,
the question?
because I
Okay.
kind of know your
So
story. I did my research, and you started from scratch. That is what I know. So tell all of us what's the story.
yeah, so I started out I grew up in the middle of Illinois, little small town right outside of
Yeah,
Springfield. And so sort of the tradition in the small towns is that you follow in the footsteps of your father. You
exactly.
kind of take over the family business, and then eventually your children take over the family business. And so my family owned the trailer park in our little
Uh-huh.
town. And so my dad really wanted me to take over this trailer park, but I really wanted to do
Right.
comedy. And so eventually I kind of broke the news to him that I said, I feel like I can make just as much money doing stand-up comedy as running the trailer park, which was correct. I am making tens of
Mhm.
dollars.
That's great. That's great. So, did you ever doubt yourself that maybe one day I'm gonna be back and tell Dad that I didn't make it? Sorry. Were there doubts?
I think that's pretty normal in the comedy world because there's always moments where
Exactly.
things don't go right and you kind of wonder, what's the next step
Yeah.
here for me on this, but then you have it seems like the very next night you have this incredible night, and then you're like, why was I even thinking I would stop doing comedy? I mean,
Yeah.
look. So
So, um, this question is kind of related to the first question in the place. Um, yeah, Jeremy, sometimes we're with our friends, right? In a group of five, six people, and we recall some joke, and we're just about to pop it out, but we sometimes, just feel uh, that it's not gonna be that funny and it's gonna be lame, and we're just gonna end up embarrassed, and we just stop at the end moment. So, doing comedy in front of hundreds or thousands of people, how do you do that? Where do you get that kind of confidence?
oh man, that is a great question. As many interviews as I've done, that's the first time somebody's asked
Really?
me that. You're kind of going along and you think, wow, maybe this joke isn't going to work. So generally, I mean, as you're kind of going along and the audience is with you and with you and with you, your confidence grows and grows and
Mm,
grows. And so that's when you can really start to take some
right.
risk. Um, so, and then if they don't like something that I'm kind of trying out, um, it's not a big deal. I can just switch back to the stories and the jokes that I know are solid and good. So, um, I think the mistake a lot of newer comedians make is they're confident with new stuff and they do a new joke, it doesn't work. Then they do another new joke, it
Uh-huh.
doesn't work, and another new joke, it doesn't work. And then now the audience has given up
Right.
on you. But if you do a new joke, it doesn't work, you just fall back to one of the jokes. Everybody, even not just comedians, everyone has, the stories or the jokes in their back pocket that you go to at a party when you're trying to impress a group of people, impress a girl, whatever. Those are the jokes you can fall back on. If something doesn't work, you've got something ready to roll.
Uh-huh. So you gotta keep something up your sleeve. It's
Yeah,
a serious
absolutely.
business. Comedy is a serious business.
Well, you know what? You're right though. It's it's I tell new folks it's called show business. It is
Of
a
course, of
business,
course.
So and if you don't treat it as a business, you won't make any money. If you just think it's going to party all the
Uh-huh.
time.
Right. Um, uh, Mr. Jeremy, what part does popularity uh, have in your in comedy? Like, if someone's really popular, will more people laugh on their jokes, or they're like unbiased about it? I personally believe that, of course, the more famous a person is, people will more likely to laugh on whatever BS they come and say on the stage.
Man, you have done your homework, sir. I think you are 100%
Right,
correct. Um, and so I'll start on a small
right.
level first, okay? So you're a new comedian, but you're not good at all, okay? So people really don't laugh. But one night, all your friends
Mhm.
come. They and your family, they're all going to laugh because they know you and they want you to do
Of
well,
course.
right? Now, on a bigger scale, same thing. When the audience all comes because they know you and they want you to do well, they laugh, you know, all the time, even when the joke's not funny or you didn't even get to the joke. You say, well, I was walking down the street the other day.
Yeah.
Right. I will, I had a pretty prominent actor slash comedian I opened for a few
Uh,
years back. And he said, will you tell me if I'm funny? And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he said, when I walk out there in 10 seconds, they're going to laugh at everything I say, no matter
yeah.
what. And at this point, I don't even know if I'm funny anymore.
That pretty much sums it all up. Right.
Yep. Yep.
So, tell us more about your book. What's it about?
Okay. So, my book, You Can't Write City Hall. That's the
Right.
cover right there behind me or over here.
And
Um,
also, how was
so
your experience being the mayor of your town? So,
Okay. Yeah. So I'll tie them together. Yeah. So the book is about, as you kind of said there, the book is me retelling the real life experience I had being mayor of my
yeah. Right.
town. And so it's been taking off. It's a lot of fun to be the mayor of a
Yeah.
town and a lot of headaches to be the
Of
mayor of a
course.
town. Um, so one story I can tell you. Um, so when you're in a small town, the mayor is in charge of a lot of stuff that in a big city, one person would be in charge of all these different things. So in my town, I was the health
Yeah.
inspector, chief of
Yeah.
police, uh, uh, animal control
Alright.
officer, liquor liquor
Oh my
commissioner,
God.
all of these things. So one day, this guy says, "Hey, there's an abandoned house next to mine, and I need you to get over there because there's a bunch of skunks living in it. You need to get rid of the skunks." So now, yeah, can you believe there's an abandoned house in a small town? Believe
Yeah.
it or not. And and so I said, well, I would rather call the county and have people that do this professionally remove the skunks. I don't think it's a good idea for me.
Right.
And and he says, well, you're chief of police, so you have a gun. You need to go in there with your gun and shoot the skunks. And so,
Some
so I was
people
like,
go too basic, huh?
uh, what's
Some
that?
people go too basic.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, well, I can't go in there. Let's call the county. And the guy says, well, my taxes pay for better. And I said, I don't think you pay your taxes.
That's nice. Uh, Another question that I have for you is that, Jeremy, There are, of course, times when, a person is not happy. That's pretty normal. That's the way our brains are made. And sadness is, of course, a part of. I mean, if there was no sadness, there'd be no joy. So yeah, for us to laugh, we need to cry. Yeah. So when you're dealing with bad times or a bad mood, or let's just say the day wasn't just so good and you have a show in the night, how do you cope up with all that?
Um, well, it's interesting. So that's sort of a common feeling. You have a bad show, right? And the audience doesn't like you for whatever reason. Um, in those moments, I just try to remember it was just one night. We can we can move forward and just forget about it and move on. So some comedians will actually listen to a video, a tape, or watch the video of themselves not doing well and the audience not liking them. And I'm like, why would you do that? If something bad happens, why do you want to relive it? Just, move forward. Now, if there were some high stakes and things didn't work out, that may be different. So for example, my special on Amazon Prime, when we filmed that, yeah, I was nervous about that. If things didn't go well for that could have been a big problem. I had to, invest all this money in hopes that Amazon would actually
Right.
buy it. My wife was really scared. She said, well, what happens if you spend all this money to film this and then Amazon doesn't buy it? And I was like, well, we'll just have a really expensive DVD that no one watches. I said, you can't say anything because it's, I said, honey, you can't say anything because we already have a really expensive DVD that nobody watches. It's called our wedding video.
That's even better. So yeah, it must be really light and funny in your house, huh?
Well, most of the time I got two little kids running around, and a lot of
Oh.
times you got little kids running around. I'm like, I'm going to, sometimes I just call out, we're playing dodgeball now, and just start nailing the kids.
As much as I like children, they can be pretty annoying at times. So yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, I cannot
Yeah.
disagree with that. Yeah, there's these moments. Actually, just the other day, I was giving my little girl a little
Right.
hug, and I felt her hug me
Yeah.
back. It was very special. I've never felt that
Exactly.
before. It was really
Exactly.
cool,
It's very
and
spiritual. When a baby holds your
yes,
finger or something like that, it's very spiritual
yeah,
because the
yeah,
newborns and all, they're like so innocent that it just shakes your soul up. I've been
yeah,
to
yeah,
hospitals and all, and whenever a baby kind of held my finger, this little finger, and like this, and I'd be
yeah,
all shaken up, even though I'm not that emotional or very what do you say, uh, soft, but
yeah,
that just shakes my soul up. So yeah.
yeah. I was even when my daughter was doing that and giving me that hug. That's a very special moment, and I was kind of taking it in, and right then she pulled out my shirt, puked down my chest.
And I guess we love them so much that even that does not piss us off.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments like that, and we got to find time to play with the kids too. Actually, as I sit here and talk with you, I have locked myself in the
Yeah.
basement. My son thinks we're playing hide and seek. He still has not
Oh,
found me.
I hope he does not. Or maybe just bring him on the show.
Yeah.
So, does comedy like naturally come to you? or is it a
Um,
particular way of thinking, and then telling yourself, if I say it in this manner, people are gonna blow up.
yeah, so there's a lot of that. It just kind of it depends on the scenario. So as far as like the naturally funny, if people are willing to allow me the spotlight, so just in a general conversation, group
Yeah.
conversation, well, yeah, I can be very funny and be funny the whole time. If somebody else is trying to be funny, I just step back and let them be funny. I don't care. Uh, but now as far as uh, sometimes certain words are funnier than others. So I tell a joke, and one night I can say, nobody laughed when I said XYZ. But then the next night, instead of XYZ, I say YXZ,
Ah,
and it was funny.
right.
Very much
So
things
it's
like
pretty
that. Or
much of an
sometimes instead of
art and
XYZ.
a science.
Yeah. There's always just little tweaks
Yeah,
you can do. And sometimes the slightest thing
of
makes a
course.
difference. There's a lot of prominent comedians. Remember, I don't know if you know Rodney Dangerfield. He was notorious. He would tell a joke with one less word every single night until it didn't get a laugh. And then the night when it didn't get a laugh, he knew, okay, I took out one too many words. Where it was before is perfect.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, what are your future plans, and what do you plan on doing next? Because I'm sure the audience definitely wants to watch
Yeah. So, people ask me that, and I don't know. See, so here's sort of what's happened to me in the past about year and a half. My goal all along, man, if I could just get a comedy special on Dry Bar Comedy, that would be super. And then I got it. Then I was like, well, if I could just get a special on Amazon Prime, that's all I need. And then I got
you.
that. And I was like, well, if I could just get a book published, that's all I need. And then sure enough, boom, then I get the book published. And then now I'm like, what am I going to do next? I got to figure that out. I mean, what else am I going to do? Spend time with my family?
But that shows
No.
that you're a very productive person, right?
What's
But
that?
that shows that you're a very productive person.
I guess so. A lot of people say that about me. One thing I say is, I'm not going to let someone outwork me. So, comedy is very, very
Of course.
competitive business. And are there people that are funnier than me out there? Yes, absolutely. Um, are there people less funny than me trying to take my spot?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And now the thing is, if the less funny person works harder than me, they can get around me. And so I can't let that happen. I got to hold my spot if I want
You
to,
gotta keep
if
working
I want to
harder
continue
and
to,
harder.
yep, yep, absolutely.
That's the formula for staying on top.
Yeah, it is. It's a hard
Yeah,
thing to do. So, I just keep working and keep working. Otherwise, like I said, I got to spend time with my family. Don't really want to.
yeah, that's sweet. Even all these, big time billionaires, they just keep on working and working. They're not lying down on some, beach and chilling off. They're just continuously working and working and working. It's not about the money. It's about the potential of the human mind and what it can produce, I believe. The wonders it can produce. Like
Yeah,
comedy itself is such a good therapy.
yeah, and some people will say to me, "Well, what are you going to do? What is your next step if your book becomes a bestseller?" And I'll tell you, if my book becomes a bestseller and I'm a millionaire, you will never see me again.
So this could be our last interview, huh, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Uh, at least give me a spot once.
Yeah. Give you a
Yeah,
star.
yeah.
Okay. I'll I'll come back if I got
If
my
you're
bestseller. We'll
reachable,
put you.
uh, At least give us one more interview when you're a millionaire.
Okay. All right.
It was fun talking to you, and you have a massive fan following over here as well. So, any message that you would like to give to your fans out there? It's situation is not so good. There's COVID all over the world, and people are isolated. They're locked down, and they've become depressed as well. So, any message that you would like to deliver to them?
Yeah, so I would say one, thanks for your support because without comedy, without people watching
Great.
comedy, we cannot have comedians. So so thank you for that, and for all the people that are watching, my specials and the book and everything. Thank you. Um, as far as getting back out there, I'm working on a whole new show. So when folks are ready to come back out, I'll have a whole new show ready to go, and when you folks are ready to come out, I'm ready. So the comedians have started to come back out. The shows have begun. As people begin to get comfortable, the crowds get larger, and everybody's doing it
Yeah,
safely. So when so my message to the viewers is, when you are ready, we are ready, and we're ready to be done with COVID.
that's great. That's great. So, thank you so much for being on Screen Bench today, and it was lovely talking to you.
Yeah, you too, man. Thank you so
Right.
much.
All right. Bye bye.